Do you want to grow your own food, but you live in an apartment or you're renting and you don't want to grow your plants in the ground? Well, growing in containers might be an option for you. And in this video, I'm going to share with you my top 10 favorite plants for container gardening that produce lots and lots of food in small spaces. Hi, I'm Christina with Forever Food Forest, a channel where I explore ways of growing food without the use of herbicides, pesticides, or commercial fertilizers, and instead I rely on permaculture gardening principles and other natural farming techniques to grow food. The idea for this video came from one of you guys. A while ago, someone asked me what they can grow in containers on their small balcony besides lettuces or the usual herbs. And as I was typing out the answer, I thought, this would make a really good video because I'm sure there are a lot of other people who might need some ideas of what to grow in their small space. This list is made specifically with my Florida friends in mind and features some exotic tropicals as well as some heat-tolerant garden varieties. And if you're not in Florida, well, you might find this video helpful as well, since a lot of these plants will be grown in pots. They can always be brought inside when the temperatures drop. If you're looking for a heat-tolerant green that you can use in salads, sautés, or soups, look no further than Okinawan spinach. Look at how pretty it looks. Green on top, purple on the bottom. It does well as an ornamental. It's super nutritious and it multiplies really fast. So anytime you pluck off a stem, it's going to get bushier and bushier and bushier. Next on our list are peppers. The key to growing peppers in containers is to have at least a 20-gallon pot. Those roots need room to spread if you want to have a high yield. And if you want to make the most out of your small container garden, consider companion planting your peppers with carrots. I like to start my peppers and carrots at the same time, which is around mid-January, by direct sowing them into my pots. And since peppers take a really long time to get going, by the time they hit their growth spurt, my carrots are ready to harvest. A Florida garden would not be complete without sweet potatoes. And sweet potatoes are super easy to grow. You can grow them from taters you get at the store. You just submerge them in water and then you collect your slips. I'm going to show you how easy it is to pot them up right now. You can grow them in any type of pot. You can grow them in those big plastic pots, 5-gallon buckets. I'm choosing this grow bag because it has this handy dandy flap that I can open and harvest my potatoes as needed. And sweet potatoes are not particularly picky about the type of soil that they grow in. I've grown them in half-finished compost. I've grown them in composted seaweed. I've also grown them in just regular Florida soil. They're super low maintenance. And you can train them to grow up a trellis, creating a natural privacy fence. And in the end, you get sweet potatoes. But that's not all. You get two sides, greens, because the greens are edible, and a starch. If you love tomatoes and you want to try growing your own, there's one variety that rises way above the rest when it comes to container gardening in Florida. Can you guess what it is? If you're a seasoned Florida gardener, you are not allowed to answer. But if you're new here, it is the Everglades tomato. The Everglades tomato is a tiny tomato that packs a flavorful punch. It's also a high producer, which means you'll never run out of tomatoes if you grow this one plant, and it's heat tolerant. But my favorite part is the flavor. The flavor can't be beat. I've brought it to many picnics with many other tomatoes, and this is the one tomato that everyone always raves about. They ask me how they can grow it, and that's why I wanted to share it with you. And if you want to grow this tomato in a container, make sure to give it a big enough pot and a trellis because this thing is indeterminate and it will grow on forever. Oh, the weather has really turned on us. Hopefully it doesn't start pouring. So this right here is one of my favorites to grow in containers because they do not require a large container and they thrive in the shade. It is turmeric. Oh, one of the bananas just fell. Yikes. Let's take a look. Look at this thing. It just went down as I was making this video. It's nuts. Oh God. Okay. So these are still a little bit too green to be picked. I want them to ripen some more, and if I cut them down right now, they will never fully ripen. So I'm gonna leave them on the stalk, and I'm gonna use a pole to prop them up so the raccoons don't eat them. Also, look at this pineapple, how cute. Well, that didn't do much, did it? Okay. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh my gosh. Oh. All right. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, I'm gonna have to come out on the other side and stake it up higher. Oh no. This is the most Florida thing I've ever done, I think. All right. Hopefully it'll stay. Now I'm just gonna cut these leaves off so it doesn't get tossed around by the wind. Okay, now where was I? Ah, yes, turmeric. If you have a spot that doesn't get a lot of sun, but you still want to have a container garden, consider growing turmeric or ginger or galangal or cardamom. All of those do really well in our Florida shade. And contrary to popular belief, it's not just the rhizome that's edible. You can also eat the leaves, and they actually have a lot of medicinal properties. And if you're going to grow galangal or ginger, you might as well go all in and grow lemongrass. Look at how pretty it looks. Lemongrass is one of the main ingredients in one of my favorite soups, the tom kha gai. It's got medicinal properties. You can harvest it as needed, take a stalk, steep it in some boiling water, and you have lemongrass tea. If you're feeling really adventurous, you could try growing your own avocados. That's right, you can grow avocado trees in pots and they will produce fruit. But the trick is you gotta select a dwarf variety. Dwarf varieties of avocado are specifically bred to stay compact as they grow. Another trick is you gotta have a pot that's big enough to accommodate the roots. So you wanna have a pot that's at least 20 gallons in size, preferably something along 40 or 50 gallons for best yields. Another fruit-bearing tree that does particularly well in pots is the fig. And if you've never had a freshly picked, fully ripe fig, you can't compare it to a fig Newton or any of the figs you buy at the store. Because green figs stop ripening once they're picked, and ripe figs are not shelf stable. And did you know that the leaves of the fig tree are edible as well? You can steep them in hot water to make tea. And they also have a lot of medicinal properties. So you probably saw these two in the background and you were wondering, when is she going to talk about the elephant in the room? Well, I saved the best for last. And right here we have a blueberry and a strawberry. I actually prefer growing blueberries and strawberries in pots. The reason that strawberries do well in pots is because they don't need a lot of room. So you can get these strawberry towers and just stack your berries one on top of the other. And strawberries come in two main types. It's June-bearing and ever-bearing. Ever-bearing strawberries are going to give you berries year-round, and June-bearing, well, you're only going to get berries in June. When it comes to blueberries, if you want to have lots and lots of fruit, make sure to select two varieties that flower at the same time. Did you know that blueberry leaves are also edible, and in fact, they are more nutritious than the actual berries? And one last thing, this list is not in any particular order, so it doesn't mean that number 1 is the best and number 10 is the worst. And if you feel that there's a plant on here that I missed, make sure to drop it in the comments below. I would love to hear it, and I'm sure others would like to learn as well. You made it to the end. There's one last thing that I wanted to mention. When it comes to selecting a pot, you can grow your plants in pretty much anything. Cardboard boxes, canvas bags, grow bags, terracotta pots, recycled nursery pots. But there is one very important thing that you need to look out for: drainage holes. Your pot's gotta have drainage holes. Okay, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.